What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Nest Podcast. I'm Brandon, and I'm joined as always by Zach, and we're joined by Into the Woods host Justin this week. And guys, getting right into things, it's been a week where a lot of people are just calling it quits. Um, whether it be a true legitimate retirement or they're just lying to us all to try to get extra hype. Of course, it's red panty night. I'm talking about Conor McGregor. I'm sure whenever the word gets to him that we're talking about him on the Nest podcast, he's going to be like, who the fuck is the Nest podcast? But
Who the fuck are these guys?
so I kind of wanted to pitch an idea. We'll play a new game called Retired or Liar. And I kind of want to see where you guys think Connor is on all this. Do you think he's actually calling it quits, hanging him up? Liar.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the general consensus then. Like, if you remember a couple years back, he did this same stunt and then came back and fought Nate Diaz like 4 months later. So do you think it's just a play to try to get more money, or is he going to get ownership stake? Dana says no.
No, fuck no, he won't. There's no way the UFC will give that up. They're under new ownership anyway, so I think the new ownership is only worried about making money. They're not worried about trying to get in cahoots with this guy. They want to make money off of him. As for his retirement, I don't know what his fucking angle is here. Like, I don't know what he expects to come of this because he's lost and he doesn't have a belt. He's still a big draw, but I don't understand where he's coming from.
I think he's kind of hurting his image more so than he's even going to be helping it. When he was on the come up and he was like running through dudes like 7-8 fights in a row or whatever, leading up to the Jose Aldo 13-second knockout, that was the zenith of his career. Since then, it's kind of been a shit show downhill.
Pretty much, yeah. Ever since he lost to Nate, it's been chaos.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the blueprint's there. He's not a very good grappler.
Yeah.
Take him down, beat him up.
Yep. Take him down, beat him up, choke him out. Done
Whatever.
for. Just don't let him hit you on the chin.
Yeah, I mean, he still has dynamite in his fist, but we'll see him again by the end of the year.
You got any thoughts, Justin?
Yeah, I think, with the whole bus thing and then him breaking the guy's phone, and then there's a lot of stuff coming out about how he gets gassed early, like there's something, related to his diet or the way he's working out. I don't know if you've heard that lately, but Joe Rogan's been talking a lot about it. And then with him losing to Khabib, I think there's just a lot stacked up. And like Brandon said, I think this is just more of his attempt to make him coming back a big ordeal. I think right now everybody's tired of his shit, and this is a way for him to, get back to who he was, which I don't believe will ever happen, but he will try.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the phone incident that happened, where he like took the dude's phone and stomped it or whatever. That was dumb move. Led to him getting arrested. Of course, throwing the hand truck through the window of the bus led to him getting arrested. And did you guys hear about the sexual assault shit that's going on?
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Alleged.
Apparently, someone in Ireland has accused him of that. Now, I was texting Brandon about it, and this is my initial thought without knowing jack shit about it. To me, it sounds like a cash grab. If he were single and out partying and out doing whatever, then maybe. But he's got I don't think they're married, but obviously a steady girlfriend if they have a child with one on the way. I mean, of course, anything's possible, but I don't know. I'm suspect.
Yeah, I mean it. I hate to say it like this, but anytime like these allegations come out against big celebrities with a lot of money, you kind of have to look at it through rose-colored glasses or with a grain of salt or whatever, because you never fully know. But I think McGregor might be just that shitty of a person.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely possible. He's a wild man, so Who fucking knows? And maybe it's one of those way back when situations, like 7 years ago he did something and they're bringing it up now or whatever.
Sure. I mean, Bill Cosby's in prison for something he did decades ago. So
yeah, that's kind of
it is
been
possible.
That's kind of been floating around in the celebrity world. So who fucking knows?
So moving on to our next contestant on Retired or Liar, Rob Gronkowski. Do you think he's actually done?
I think so, yeah.
You think he is? Justin?
Yeah, I agree, man. He's kind of been on a downswing a while. He's not really been healthy for years. He's great. He's a great tight end, but I think Gronk's made his money. Now he wants to go on to bigger and better things, and which is partying. And I'm sure he'll do something crazy, some kind of like MTV gig, or I just see something that Gronk's got up his sleeves, but I think he's done.
I think he's still on the fence, even though he announced that he's retiring and all that stuff. I think he does want to explore other options while those options are presented, but I'm not putting it past him to completely have football out of his system. As it stands, he's one of the greatest tight ends that's ever played the game. But I don't know if that's good enough. I think the football bug has bitten him so much that he wants to be the best of all time. And when people are sitting there saying like, oh, well, he's, second or third or fourth, even in some cases, I think that's going to get to him a little bit.
Interesting. I kind of am on the same side as Justin. People have been saying he's only played for 9 years and yada, yada, yada. Well, that's professional. He's played, I believe, 4 years of high school, 4 years of college, and then 9 years of pro. Now, if you can say what you want, but that takes a toll on your body. And the way he plays, very physically, doctors have been telling him for years that he should retire.
I'm going to go ahead and stop you right there, because the 4 years of high school that you're alluding to, that would be like me playing against fucking kindergartners. That does not count.
People get wrecked in high school football. People get
wrecked by dudes the size of Gronk in high school.
Yeah,
people Gronk size don't get fucked up by guys that are 135 pounds.
Yeah, that is a fair point. I wonder where he went. If he went to one of those corn-fed, big and tough places, he may have had competition. Obviously, nothing like him, but I don't know. I definitely think you have to count all that shit in there, because he's got probably head trauma up the fucking ass. And when he's 50 years old, I wonder if he'll be able to talk. You were telling me a lot of people are saying that he might do WWE.
That's one of the rumors online or whatever. And I mean, he's been part of some WWE events in the past, so it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, I guess. But I don't see him as a wrestler.
I don't either.
Like Rousey
at least had some legitimate fight training, some skills with grappling and throws. Like, she's a badass judo fighter, like an Olympic level judo fighter.
Olympic medalist.
So shit like that translates easy into the professional wrestling realm. Look at Kurt Angle, Olympic gold medalist in wrestling, became a sports entertainer and is one of the best of all time at doing that as well.
Yeah.
Gronk is a football player. Football skills don't necessarily match over to wrestling skills unless you're just, passionate about wrestling and you dedicate the rest of your life to learning how to be a pro wrestler. It's not something that you can just wake up and do.
I see him as some kind of host for a TV show, like maybe reality TV or some stupid TV show that young adults will eat up.
And how much fun do you think somebody like Gronk would have doing that? I don't think it would be that great. I think he would feel too constrained by TV networks and shit like that. He can't be Gronk.
Yeah.
Per se.
Yeah. I mean, if he could get his little party boy persona on, then maybe.
I think he would have to be too censored this day and age to be a TV host or whatever. Unless you're on late night and nobody's going to be watching that shit anyway.
That's why I
Yeah.
was saying MTV. I see him doing like a spring break type thing, or like they had the Gronk cruise already. I see him doing stuff like that, like having his own like party cruises, and like you said about WWE, yeah, he doesn't have experience like judo and stuff, but 90% of wrestling is a character, and he's all character.
Yeah, but you can be a character, but you still have to be able to perform in the ring.
You have to pull off moves.
Like he's not all. What's he gonna do? Shoulder tackle somebody?
Yeah, like the spear. The way I see wrestling is all that can be taught, but you can't teach somebody how to be a character, like a personality. And he's already got that portion, so he can learn to do the other stuff.
I just don't see it. And I think that if he went and tried that route, he would realize how tough it is and how much he actually sucks and has to develop to get good. When somebody like Gronk switches careers in their prime or whatever, they don't want to get sent back to the JV leagues.
Right.
And that's exactly what would happen. Can you imagine like Gronk in Elizabeth in Tennessee Boys and Girl Club Armory because that's the best place that he can go to perform?
No, he wouldn't do that.
Exactly. He's not going to be good enough to be on Monday Night Raw or WrestleMania, so he's not going to get to be the headline after, the initial like, "Oh my god, Gronk's here."
Right. Yeah.
He's a one spot, one trick pony.
He could do a one-off like Raw or something and be just a guest and do like 6 moves or something stupid, and then he would never.
That would be fine.
Yeah, and people would eat it up, but he could never be like a steady star on WWE. There's no way he has enough like physical know-how to do wrestling moves.
Have y'all thought about this? Okay, he's got obviously his whole family's got a huge personality. There's 4 or 5 brothers. Have you ever thought about a reality show of the Gronks?
That could be.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah, the Wahlburgers all over.
The Gronks.
I would rather the Wahlburgers. I love that show, but I would rather. I could see the Gronks being bigger just because they're so far out there, dude.
I could 100% see that happening.
I hope not, because that would just be like keeping up with the Gronkowskis.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yep.
That doesn't sound entertaining to me. What sounds entertaining to me is Tommy Terrific calling him up about week 8 and saying, "Hey, bud, you've had about half a year off. You want to come back and win another Super Bowl ring?"
That sounds good to you because you're a Patriots fan.
I mean, that sounds good for Gronk's legacy as a football player. He comes back and he has a chance to actually go down as the greatest of all time. No question.
He comes down with the guy that still plays a half a year, but he's just not hurt.
I don't think if he does come back, I don't think it'll be this year. I think he's at least taking a whole year off. Can they just are they allowed to just let him back whenever they want?
I mean, he retired. It's not like he opted to. I don't know. I don't know how that would work. I mean, I'm sure that the Patriots would be able to be the first ones to offer him a new contract or whatever, but
that is kind of a weird situation, right?
I mean, it's like Le'Veon Bell set out, but his was for a completely different reason. Like he was a holdout for money, but
right.
But he was also still on the roster.
Right. He was still an active player, even though he was intentionally inactive.
If I'm not mistaken, there's a deadline, just like a trade deadline. I think around that same time, you can't go out and get free agencies or you can get people from your what do they call it, the practice squad. Like if somebody were to go down, you got your practice squad as backups, right. But you couldn't just go out and sign somebody like in the middle of the Super Bowl.
You're right. Yeah. And I don't think you can even pick them up for the playoffs or anything either, unless they were designated beforehand.
Yeah, I think they have to be on the practice squad for so long before they can transfer over. And like you said, I don't think they couldn't bring him over at the start of the playoffs. And, for him to be available for the Super Bowl, that wouldn't work.
It's like in baseball, you normally have your 25-man roster, but as it gets closer to the playoffs, you have your extended 40-man that you can draw from.
Yep.
But I kind of wanted to see where you guys ranked Gronk all time as is. Where would you put him?
Go ahead, Justin.
I got Tony Gonzalez 1, and I'm not saying that because he was a Falcon, because he was primarily a Chief.
Chief, yeah, he played the bulk of his career in Kansas City.
Tony Gonzalez 1. I think Jason and Gronk are 2 and 3, wherever you want to put them.
Okay, I mean that's a fair assessment. I also have Tony as number 1. I don't think even if Gronk were to play another 4 years, 5 years, that he would come close to Tony Gonzalez. I actually did some number crunching, and I just took 9 random seasons that Tony played and compared them against Gronk's career, and they were better. So, and Tony's played like 150 more games. he's like, his career was a lot longer. It has to be him as the best.
But he doesn't have any rings.
He doesn't. He doesn't. That's true. He doesn't have any rings. But
and who gives
he's still
a
the
shit?
greatest of all time.
Yeah.
He's still the greatest of all time.
When it comes to a position, it doesn't matter if you have rings or not. Gronk wouldn't have rings either if he wasn't playing for Tom Brady.
Sure. It's interesting that you said Jason Witten, because I have, in my order, I have him ranked out as Gonzalez, Gronk, and then Witten. I have Gronk slightly ahead of Witten just because he's had bigger numbers in less time. But with Witten coming out of retirement, being a liar that he is, I think he might have a chance to pass Gronk. And that's part of why I think Gronk will be like, well, fuck that.
Interesting.
You know, I see Gronk as the type of guy that's like, in his mind, he wants to be the best. And if that means he has to throw the pads back on and catch a few more touchdowns and get another ring, so be it.
You know, with that being said, and you know, Jason's my boy. It has nothing to do with that. Based on the offense that Jason's been in versus the offenses that Gronk's been in, Jason's basically led the Cowboys single-handedly the majority of the time. I mean, third down, they're going wide option every time. I understand that Gronk's numbers might be a little better, but you got to think of it that way too. Imagine if Jason Witten played for the Patriots the last 9 years.
Did you not hear that I said that I have Gronk just slightly ahead of Witten, and that Witten would probably overtake him?
Yeah, I heard that, but I think it'd be the opposite. I think that Gronk would have to come back to overtake Witten.
I looked at it based off of a 9-year clip, and Gronk completely blows Witten out of the way whenever you look at the numbers in just a 9-year. The reason that Witten's numbers are so embellished is because he's played 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
And that's why if you just glance at the numbers, it's like, oh shit, Witten's numbers are so much better. He's led that whole team. He's done this and that. Well, in 9 years, Gronk has almost 80 touchdowns, and Witten doesn't even have 70. Witten has more yards and more receptions, but that's because he's also played in 120 more games than Gronk has. So Gronk has carried portions of Patriots seasons, games where he had, 3 touchdowns in a game, not to mention all the accolades and all the things that he's done in the playoffs. I've got to have Gronk slightly ahead.
Well, look what I can tell you. The one thing, I know that I'm not trying to make this a Jason versus Gronk thing, but Jason Witten also played every one of his games but one.
That is a big factor. He's definitely more durable. Gronk is injury prone. So
how do you even accomplish that in the NFL?
I could tell y'all. Let me tell you a story, man.
Gonzalez was the same way. Gonzalez only missed. Yeah, he rarely missed games.
That's wild to me.
Let me tell you this story about Jason when he first started. I remember like it was yesterday. He got hit by Ray Lewis going over the middle, and he broke his jaw. Right, so he played the game, went to the hospital, got his jaw wired shut. He still dressed and started the next game. Couldn't even open his mouth.
That's insane.
Yeah. You remember the time that he got his helmet knocked off and his nose busted and still ran like 50 yards down the field?
Yeah, he's tough.
He's a tough motherfucker, but I still got to give Gronk the slight edge as far as the greatest of all time tree,
Number wise, yeah.
but they still don't even come close to Tony.
No.
And Antonio Gates is right there in the mix too, right behind Witten, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah. Zach, do you have anything else you want to add onto that, or?
No, that covers it for me.
Well, the last thing that I kind of want to mention about that is, if Gronk stays true to his word and he's actually retired and not a liar, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't know about first ballot though. I don't know about that.
Okay, I'm unsure on that as well.
I could see it being like, I wouldn't be upset if he was a first ballot, but I don't know if he'll get the votes.
I think, honestly, if he is a first ballot, it's because he has rings and things.
Yeah.
That's what seals the deal for his first ballot candidacy. He's a Hall of Famer regardless, but if he's a first ballot, it's because the postseason accolades.
Yep.
What about Jordy Nelson, somebody else that recently decided to hang it up? Do you think there's any chance in hell that he makes it to the Hall?
It'd have to be late, like second to last, chance to get in or whatever.
Oh, I'm saying even later than that. I'm saying that he would have to be like a legacy inductee, like how they're inducting the guys that played in like Super Bowl 15 now. That's Jordy Nelson in like the year 2047.
Right.
I mean, he had some great years, but it was only a few years. Like, it wasn't.
He had a few great years catching Hail Marys.
Yeah, I mean,
that's about all. Like, he would just be able to outrun the coverage and catch a 50-yard bomb. That's about it. He was. Go ahead.
Was he part of the 2010, 2011, whichever year the Packers won? Was he a part of that team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was on that squad. That's about the only shining spot though in his whole career. Yeah, he caught a lot of passes from Aaron Rodgers, but
so did everyone else.
Yeah.
I
don't think he gets in, but I do think that he's actually retired. I don't
100%.
think he's going to come back.
Yeah, 100%. He hasn't made noise in several years.
No. Somebody that, retired recently, while we're on the topic of it, that kind of touched my heart a little bit was Ichiro. Ichiro Suzuki played his last games and he got to do it in Japan. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, he did like a little Japan like farewell kind of thing.
Yeah, MLB has been trying to broaden their horizons, and they like to have games over in Japan, and they're going to have a Red Sox Yankees series in London this year as well. But the Mariners letting Ichiro sign like a 2-game contract so that he could play those 2 games in Japan where his career all started and stuff, and kind of say goodbye to the American and Japanese fans at once. That was a classy move, and it was a good move.
Yeah, super cool.
And I mean, he's obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a whim and say he's going to be a unanimous Hall of Famer.
Yeah, if he's not unanimous, that's some bullshit.
Pete Rose is Major League Baseball's hit king. Ichiro is not the hit king, but he is baseball's all-time hit king. And that to me is bigger. He had over 1,000 professional hits in Japan before he even played a major league game. And then he ended up getting over 3,000 hits in Major League Baseball.
God damn.
His grand total ends up being a couple hundred hits more than Pete Rose. So he's baseball's hit king.
Yeah.
Not just MLB, baseball.
Other than Ken Griffey, he is the Mariners like star franchise, of all time greatest player.
Yeah, I mean, whenever people think of the Mariners, first and foremost, they do usually think of the kid, but then second to that, it's Ichiro. Some people might think of King Felix too, but
I never knew this. Baseball is supposedly super popular in Japan.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah,
it's everything in Japan.
It's huge over there.
That's crazy to me.
They have several professional teams that rival like the best teams in the United States. It's no wonder that these guys like Shohei and stuff like that come over here with so much fanfare and so much hype. It's because they're proven. They're
Yeah.
proven like stars.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if Shohei is Japanese.
Yeah, he is. Daisuke Matsuzaka that used to pitch for the Red Sox was from there. There's Hideo Nomo. He used to pitch for the Dodgers back in the day. Like the guys that are from Japan that come over and play in the major leagues, they're gods.
Yeah.
They're gods over there. Ichiro is like Zeus. If all of the other guys are just regular gods, Ichiro's their Zeus. He's the god of gods.
Yeah.
But it's a sad day that he called it quits. But to play professional baseball at 45 years old is fucking impressive.
Yeah. Jesus.
So speaking of things that are impressive, we've been watching and trying to keep up with March Madness, and we've seen some impressive displays from some of these kids. But unfortunately, Tennessee's impressive streak finally ran out. Justin, I know we were kind of chatting back and forth during the game, but that one hurt last night.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, I was proud of them. I mean, they literally played the worst half of basketball they played all year. They were able to come back there at the end, and if it wasn't for that stupid foul on that 3-pointer, we'd have won the game.
Which was a bullshit foul anyway. It was. I don't think it was actually a foul.
It's like it barely got contact with the player.
Ticky tack bullshit.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. He shouldn't even been that close on that play.
See, I've been going back and forth on that. Like you got to contest the shot. You got to put a hand up. You got to flash or something. But it was the dude's leg that got hit.
Yeah.
The shooter kicked his leg out, and that's what got hit and got the call. That's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few things down there at the end that were that way. But here's my thought, and I posted this on Facebook. I'm a Tar Heels fan as big as I am Vols and basketball. But as a diehard bleed every day orange Tennessee fan, which I support them in every sport, always have, I couldn't be more proud of this group of kids, man. And they held the #1 spot for I think 12 weeks or something crazy. They came in the tournament, played a heck of a basketball. I mean, all tournament games are close. There's very rarely blowouts once you get past that first round. They had the coach of the year. They had the SEC player of the year. Schofield left on a great note as a senior. And like I've told everybody, if Schofield is the only one that goes pro and Williams don't go pro and comes back, Tennessee will be freaking dangerous next year.
Yeah, they've got some big time recruits coming in. And, this was a team that didn't have a single freshman score a basket all season long. And next year they've got 2, 5-star?
Yeah, they got a few 5-stars. Alexander will be a junior. Bone will be a junior. Williams will be a senior. I mean, hell, dude. It's going to be nasty. You're basically taking Alexander, a more experienced Alexander, and putting him where Schofield would be. So
right.
You've got Turner, Bone. You got the same lineup.
Basically. Pretty much, yeah. With a 5-star freshman in the mix. So they will be nasty. They will be very, very good. I hope Williams decides to stick around for one more. What do you think he'll do, though? He's already won SEC Player of the Year twice. Does he have anything else left to prove for college basketball?
If he went pro, I wouldn't be mad at him. But he reminds me a lot of Schofield. Schofield has his head on his shoulders, and he came back to finish what he started. Williams seems to have a really good head on his shoulders. And I would say right now it's 50-50, but I would lean on the side of him coming back because I can see him wanting to three-peat, and he knows that they're going to have a chance next year if he comes back. If he was coming back to a team that was depleted, I would say he'll go pro 90%, but he's coming back to a freaking squad that he's going to be the leader of.
Did you see that the loss was the final straw that broke the last perfect bracket?
Ouch.
Tennessee's.
Yep. Yeah, they had Tennessee over Purdue in the perfect bracket, and there is no more.
So, the emotions we were going through, can you imagine having the perfect bracket and that the emotions that dude went through?
No, I can't imagine it because I've never even come that fucking close.
No,
My bracket was busted after the first game this year. So
I've never made it past the first round. So I'm the same way.
So, now that Tennessee's out and Purdue made it to the Elite Eight, there are a lot of teams or a few teams left that are hated, like Duke. But then there are a few teams left that I wouldn't mind seeing going all the way. And the one that I'm really thinking of is Gonzaga. Now that Tennessee's gone, I would like to see Gonzaga finally get there and win it all. I know Justin's like shaking his head over there because he's like, "Oh, fuck that. I'm all Tar Heels now, baby." But
I wouldn't hate it, man. If North Carolina's not in there, then I would definitely want them to beat Duke, which is
right.
out of the bracket. Virginia Tech, I would like to see beat Duke today. They got their guard back, so that would be a good underdog story. Hell, Auburn, just because of Bruce Pearl, man, look what he's done with that shitty team. If you put their players, say, take coaching out of it, if you're playing pickup ball and you've got Auburn's players, and then probably 90% of these other team players, Auburn's players are sitting on the bench.
Is in North Carolina playing Auburn?
Yeah, and they're down. It's a 3-point game, 29-26. I'm watching it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, aren't they playing each other? So that in order for Auburn to make it, that means your Tar Heels would have to fall. So
yeah, I don't want that to happen, but if it did, I wouldn't be mad if they won it.
As long as Kentucky or Duke don't cut down the nets, I'm okay with it.
Do we think that Duke will make it all the way?
No. UCF should be playing tonight and not Duke.
I agree. They got screwed.
Well, they got screwed, but they also missed 2 wide open layups at the buzzer. So
that's why I think Virginia Tech's going to beat Duke today.
I hope so. I would not be upset about it.
Can someone explain to me why all these college players are missing free throws? Like,
that was the epidemic in the Tennessee game.
God.
But what's weird, that's not normal. Tennessee's like an 85% foul shot team.
Is it the pressure?
I don't know.
Maybe it was just, I don't know.
I mean, I will say that it's got to be hard as fuck to shoot free throws with a just absolutely thunderous crowd and with everything on the line. But you would think that they would practice it so much that it's just muscle memory and you can just hit them all fucking day.
Well, I mean, look at, we covered it not too long ago when Grant Williams went 23 for 23, and last night he missed half of his shots. You can practice it all day long, but, sometimes maybe it's the pressure, maybe it's the nerves, maybe the ball has a weird slickness to it, or I don't know, maybe you just fucking suck that day.
Yeah. All rims are different too. If you didn't notice, Tennessee missed 13 on that one side, and then they only missed a few on the other side.
You would think that'd be something that'd be standardized.
Yeah, but all of them have a little different bounce to them. I played on probably 50 courts, and it might not be big difference, but you could tell the difference.
But when they missed those 13 free throws, it was also when they couldn't hit the broadside of a fucking barn with anything else. So
yeah,
it's not just free throws. They were just all fucking cold and could not shoot to save their lives. So, I don't know. Yeah, it sucks. Now that college basketball is pretty much over for me, at least, I don't really care too much anymore, to be honest. What are you looking forward to next, Justin?
I'm college basketball. I'm still in it with North Carolina. I still love it. I'm going to watch it till the end, regardless of who's in it, even if it's fucking Duke versus Kentucky, as bad as that would suck. But, we got the NFL draft. I've really been watching a lot of NFL draft stuff, and I really can't wait to that. That's my Christmas.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about the NFL draft and all that stuff too, getting into preseason football and all that. You think Murray goes number 1?
I hope so, because we don't need a quarterback. I hope they take all the fucking quarterbacks in the top 5.
I hope he goes number 1, and I hope that they the Cardinals end up trading Josh Rosen to the Patriots, and that becomes Tom Brady's heir apparent.
You like Josh Rosen?
I talked about him back at the beginning of last season when I was like, do you think Rosen should get a shot to play for the Cardinals? And you guys were like, who? I like that kid. I think he's got all the talent in the world. I think he's a very similar style quarterback as Tom Brady, so he would fit the system. I think it would work. And I think Josh McDaniel would like him as well.
Here's the guy that I hope we get. Christian Wilkins, the lineman out of Clemson, the interior lineman. He's basically, Grady Jarrett, the lineman we got that just tore it up against everybody, that had like 3 sacks versus the Patriots, I believe. The interior lineman, he's built just like him. I don't know if he'll fall to us. That's why I'm hoping there's a run on quarterbacks like that. But man, if we can get Wilkins and Jarrett side by side, Atlanta will be stacked next year. That's all we're really missing is a good pass rush. And
I wouldn't go that far, buddy.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. You still need some corners. You still need some safeties.
We got the corners.
You need a new quarterback. You need some running backs. You need the only thing on your team that's worth half a fuck is Julio, and I don't even like him.
Devontae Freeman, hard ass runner. Matt Ryan's got tons of left in him, and we have the corners. But last year, Trufant, our Pro Bowler, got put out in the first game, and our other Pro Bowler, Alfred, got put out in the second game.
And now he's soft.
Oh, come on, man.
Once you get that injury bug, it's liable to happen yet again.
Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to mention it no more.
Matt Ryan ain't shit. You can add him to the list.
I can't see. This is why I miss having Justin on here, because I've never even hated the Falcons, but
until now,
for some reason, when Justin's on here, I just can't stop talking shit. Yesterday was 328 day, right?
Yeah, I know. I saw all about it.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, buddy.
That's hilarious.
It's all good. I ain't worried about it. Like I said, we'll do our talking on the field next year.
I don't think you're going to be stacked, but for me, the dream
that would help.
For me, yeah, it would for him. If they actually come out and they win their first like 8-9 games, then I'll be like, shit, I can't talk shit this year.
I'm sure
just bring up 328 again.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the fucking Browns and the Patriots all year.
Yeah, probably, because they're going to be winning teams and the Falcons won't be, so it's okay. You set yourself up for that one, homie.
This is why I don't come back.
This is why you made your own show.
I'm just kidding.
No, that's what makes it fun, is just to talk shit and have fun. For me, the perfect draft scenario for the Pats is the Cardinals get Murray and trade Rosen, and then we draft the best tight end available. Because we that's going to have to be our option, to draft a tight end to replace Gronk one way or the other. So
there ain't really no tight ends that are first round caliber here.
We would probably stretch and make a second round pick into our first round pick, and it would probably be the cat from Alabama.
Yeah, I mean he's raw, but he's kind of built like a Gronk.
Yeah, and Bill and Nick Saban, they have a pipeline of sorts, and they just like to funnel Alabama players up to us for some reason.
Yeah, they're kind of like
keep them all.
They're kind of like work friends, if you will.
No, like you can call it what they are. They're besties.
You think so? Douchebags.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. One maybe, but not the other.
I remember Belichick was spotted wearing the Bama shirt or whatever when he went down there for something.
That is such a non-fucking story. How many college or how many pro coaches go to visit colleges all the time? All of them. How many do you think wear like a t-shirt or a hat or something of that college when they're there? Fucking all of them.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
They were discussing how good the hand jobs were at the China place.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Hey, Kraft said not guilty, so. And that's another non-story too. Like the fact that people were trying to make that into something more than what it was. Zach and I called it right away that it was a bullshit story. The whole
I mean,
yeah,
he
he may have got a rub and tug, but it's not the
Yeah.
whole prostitution ring. Like
Yeah.
he's not sitting there, making money off of like these girls' misery,
No.
sending them out into the streets to hook for them and stuff like that. That's what they tried to make it sound like.
Yeah. The narrative was that it was like a trafficking situation, that these girls were being brought in and stuff, and now they've backed off on that because
Considerably.
Yeah.
Even the cops are like, yeah, we really don't have anything on them.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where some prosecutor or someone saw that a super famous person was a patron and decided to try to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, but he's a patron. If they're giving out hand jobs, he's getting hand jobs.
My question is for Kraft, bro, you're a fucking billionaire. Can't you have somebody come over to the house or something? I mean, come on. Be a little bit more discreet.
I see that point, but where's your sense of adventure, man?
Touche.
His house isn't on the way to the airport while he's going to the AFC Championship game. He had to relieve some stress,
Maybe Gronk rubbed off on him a little bit.
Oh,
yeah.
maybe, I don't know.
Gronk
I don't know if that was the right way to say that.
Is that a good choice of words?
Did you say Gronk rubbed him off a little?
That's what it sounded like. Oh shit! This podcast is going to hell quickly.
Yeah, if y'all want some clean entertainment, listen to Into the Woods every Saturday at 8 a.m.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, no kidding.
Did you know that Justin, they did the Into the Woods thing, did a little live like round table kind of thing, if you will. He got 300 views on Facebook
in 2 days.
Yeah, I saw that. I actually watched a few minutes of the video. I'm going to listen to it all on the podcast.
Yeah, I did too.
But that was a cool little setup you had. And Justin and I talked about it last week on our podcast that they were going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pretty excited to see it actually come to fruition. And I hope you guys do more of those.
Yeah. We learned a lot, man.
I watched a couple minutes of it, and it was a great conversation. It's a really cool idea. I love the setup where it was just, on the boxing mat, and just people all huddled around talking about the shit that we talk about. It's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's the same thing you guys probably do in the gym every day anyway. So why not put a microphone in the middle and capture it?
It started out like serious, kind of like, talking about what everybody does. But then we had guests like popping up in the ring like every so often. It was unexpected, but like random people would come in the ring and then like would tell some kind of crazy joke and shit, and we'd all be dying. So it turned into something like really fun, but it wasn't meant to be. You know what I mean?
Those are the best. It happened organically. You didn't try to force it.
Yeah, exactly.
And here's the thing, and I was telling when you wasn't on here, the first 6 minutes of the podcast sounds absolutely terrible because I was trying to figure it out as we went. I finally figured it out and started messing with the volume. So from like 6 minutes on, it don't sound as good as our mics here, but it sounds great to be like in a room. But it took me that first 6 minutes to figure it out. So like the first little bit, you'll hear like all kinds of background noise, all kinds of shit. But then it gets better. But like I said, that's the first time we ever did it. So
yeah, next time it'll just start out being there because you already have, troubleshooted that little issue or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Good. There's some funny stories, like a lot of like locker room talk, because it's just dudes sitting up there talking. I mean, it starts out serious, but in the middle, it's just kind of us all talking shit, kind of like what we do here.
I've noticed that, like, especially for like people who've never been recorded or whatever, you kind of have to break the ice a little bit and kind of get over it, and then you kind of get into a flow like halfway through or whatever, and
I feel like
comfortable.
I feel like that every episode that we do, like the beginnings, I always feel like are so rocky. because it's like, oh, we're just trying to get into a conversation. But once the conversation starts flowing, it gets so much better and so much easier.
Yeah, for sure. There's a subtle art to it.
Yeah, it really is. And you know, whenever you can introduce the Falcons and make fun of them and stuff like that, that makes it a little bit.
That just makes your day, doesn't it?
Makes my day too.
Well, I
Speaking
mean,
of, guys, not because I'm pissed off, but I do have to unfortunately get off here. Let y'all talk a little bit of baseball here in a minute.
yeah,
But
man. Well, we do appreciate you coming on and talking, you know, everything that we talked about, and you're welcome back anytime. I just mess with you about the Falcons. We're actually friends in real life, and we don't hate each other or anything like that. And we cheer for the Vols together and all that. So it's just a friendly rivalry that we have.
oh yeah, good fun, man.
But go check out Into the Woods. Check out their latest episode that will be dropping Saturday. It's a cool idea and it's a cool listen. I think anybody that likes our show would really enjoy it as well.
Oh yeah, thank you guys. And like I said, this one ain't that great, but we learned from it, and going forward it'll be a lot better. And thanks again for having me, man. Y'all have a good night.
You too, man. See you.
See you, buddy.
All right, so he kind of led us in to talk about baseball a little bit, and you know it's back. We just had opening day. I see you're rocking your Cards shirt. I'm rocking a Sandlot T-shirt that my esteemed co-host bought for me for my birthday.
Yep. I of all the places, that was from Zoomies, the skateboard place. Yeah, I was in there randomly, and I was just searching through the aisles, and I saw that, and I was like, "That's the Sandlot," and the brand is DGK. Dirty Ghetto Kids, and it's some I don't remember his name, but it's a professional skateboarders company.
I never knew what that stood for. I've seen DGK, but I never knew what that meant.
Have you? Yeah. I want to say I'm not going to speak out of turn, but it's a pro skateboarder, and I saw that and I was like, "Fuck, that is perfect for Brandon."
That's awesome. As soon as I opened up the little package, I was like, "Oh, sweet, that's awesome!" And I didn't even notice the little decal that you had slid in there as well. I was like, "This shirt's so cool."
Yep.
So thank you. I enjoy it. I like it a lot.
Sure, of course. Like you said, baseball. We are finally here.
And you know, opening day didn't go so great for either one of our teams.
Nope.
But you know, it happens that there are 162 games in a year. You can't win them all. 15 teams lost yesterday.
Yep.
It happens. Unfortunately, both of our teams were among those 15. You guys were a lot closer to knotting it up and making it interesting, but Lorenzo Kane said,
Yeah, it was quite the showing there. Early, we really fired up hot. Colton Wong got a homer, and then Harrison Bader got a homer right after him.
Oh, they went back to back?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I pitching or whatever might have happened. The Brewers caught up. Yelich got a homer.
He had a 3-run bomb. Yelich did.
Yeah. So, you know, it happens. He's the MVP, so you got to kind of expect that.
Yeah. Well, Mookie was the MVP, and he didn't hit a home run.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but speaking of, the Dodgers hit 8. The Dodgers hit 8 home runs. They're on pace for 1,300 home runs this year.
That's nuts.
Of course, it's not going to happen. You can't hit 8 a game, but Jesus Christ, 8 on opening day.
Yeah,
I think the game that they played in, they played the D-backs. I think they set a record for not only the Dodgers set the record for the most home runs by a team, but they set the most home runs by both teams in a game on opening day. I think they hit 10 or 11 between them.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of home runs, a lot of happy fans.
Yeah. You know what fans aren't happy? Philadelphia fans.
Oh, they booed fucking Harper in his second at bat. That was hilarious.
They lit him up. Didn't he go like 0-3 or something like that, or 1-3 or something?
But they specifically, he was 0-3. He didn't get a hit, but or 0-4. But they specifically booed when he struck out. And when I heard that, I was like, oh man, they're going to be booing a lot because that guy strikes out a ton.
Oh, he is lucky if he survives this 13-year stint in Philadelphia, because those fans expect nothing less than pure perfection, because he's getting paid and they're fucking ruthless. So, man, the fan base that he has to adhere to is something else. So I don't feel sorry for the guy, but it's gonna suck if he gets cold and just sucks ass. They're gonna let him know.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to feel bad for a guy who can dry his tears with $330 million, but
Yeah, he can suck it up, but still, I'd hate to be in that position.
yeah. I mean this is, but he had to know what he was getting into because Philly is the town that boos Santa Claus. They boo the Easter Bunny.
Santa Claus.
Like they boo everybody in that town. And, Giancarlo Stanton got booed by the Yankees fans last year, but by the end of the season, they came around on him. So we'll see what happens with old Bryce, but they're going to be booing a lot because he does strike out quite a bit.
Does he just swing for the fences?
That's all he does. That he's a home run hitter. That's what he tries to be, is a home run guy, and he swings for the fences every single at bat.
Yeah.
2 strikes on him, he's still swinging for the fences because he's not a contact guy. I mean, the best average that he's had for an entire season, let's see. He hit 330 in 2015. That was his MVP year. But other than that, he's only been over 300 once. The rest of the time, he's like hovering way down, in the mid 200 range.
Right.
So
I don't know if we mentioned it on an episode before or not, but the players voted him like most overrated player.
And it's not the first time that that's happened. They voted him most overrated last year as well.
Do we agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right? Wholeheartedly, 100%.
I fully think that he is. Like 62% or something like that of professional baseball players rated him as overrated.
Yeah.
Those are people. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Those are people that know the sport inside and out. They know the fine details. They're the ones that are looking at every metric, and 62% of those guys are saying that he's overrated.
Yeah.
So I think it's perfectly reasonable for 2 guys that don't play, that just bump their gums on a podcast, to say that he's way overrated.
Yeah. If there's an old, like, I don't know if it's a saying, but it's a thing in the professional world. If you really want to know if someone's good or not, you ask their peers what they think of them.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, they know better than anyone. For me, it's either him or Manny. But Manny is a great defensive player.
That's what puts it over for me, is
right.
He plays a more demanding position. Shortstop is one of the hardest positions on the field to play.
Oh yeah.
In Little League, you stick your most athletic player at shortstop. Your best player is always your shortstop, because that's where a lot of balls are going to go, and you need somebody there that has good hands and can throw the ball defensively, because if not, you're going to get eaten up, and you're going to always have those little dinky singles, and those add up over time, and you lose a lot of games because of dinky singles. Shortstops stop that from happening. So
for sure, Bryce basically just sits in the outfield waiting for balls to come his way.
Yeah. He shags balls basically.
Yep. Do you remember, he was mic'd up maybe several years ago, and Joe Buck, Bryce caught a ball, and Joe Buck was like, "I could have caught that, Bryce."
It's not that big of a deal for him to be an outfielder. Like, he's average at outfield.
Yes.
Where he makes his money is swinging the bat, and he's good at that. But there are guys that are better.
Which is so crazy to me that he got this gigantic deal. Like, what are they buying into?
They've been sucking his dick since he was 16 years old, and he appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated or ESPN the magazine, or whichever one, as the future face of baseball, baseball's golden boy, and stuff like that. He's just been talked about and well known in baseball for so long that everybody's just like, well, he's good.
He must be great.
He must be the best.
He's getting the Zion treatment.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Like that's exactly what it is. He's overhyped.
Yeah.
Now somebody like Nolan Arenado, who is a much better baseball player, doesn't get all the attention. It also helps that Bryce Harper played in Washington, D.C., which is a pretty big market, and Nolan plays in Colorado, which is a tiny market.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just so funny to me, though, that, he signed that $330 million contract and he was on cloud nine as like the highest paid whatever for like all of a week and a half. And then Trout was like, here, hold my beer.
Yep.
$100 million more than what you just got paid, bitch.
Yep. Like it ain't nothing.
No.
And that's a guy that truly deserves it.
Absolutely. Trout is an above average to great outfielder. He's an above average to great hitter. He's an above average to great base runner. Like anything that you put him out there, he's above average to great at.
Yep.
Trout doesn't have weaknesses. He's, whenever we talk about these guys are the best players in the game, it's not like they have a single facet. These are multi-tooled guys. Your Trouts, your Mookie Betts, your Arenados, Yelich is in the conversation of that. These guys, they can do it all. Bryce isn't on that list.
No, definitely not. He's a one-trick pony. He can hit a homer. And sometimes he's not even that great at that.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's super crazy to me.
He's the Aaron Rodgers of MLB.
Yeah, that's another good. He's the Zion Williamson and he's the Aaron Rodgers of baseball.
I mean, I guess it's good to be those guys because they get the big paychecks and all that shit, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely obviously going to get paid, but is he going to have a legacy that he can be proud of? Will he have, an outstanding career? Sure, I'm sure he'll make the Hall of Fame. Will he be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Will he have several pennants on his shelf? Who knows? I mean, they're going to have to pay him, which means they're not going to be able to pay other people.
Time will tell. He is 26 years old. He'll be 27 shortly. In 12 years, we'll see. We'll see if he was really worth it or not. I still don't think that he stays in Philly that whole time. I think they'll trade to get out from under the weight of his contract because they'll realize we fucked up.
Yeah, 6 years in and he'll be sucking ass.
Yeah. They don't want him for the back end of that contract anyway. They signed him to that big long contract for the next 6-7 years. Same reason why Manny Machado has opt-outs in his contract.
Yep.
Because if you suck, we don't want to keep paying your ass.
Yep. So he'll be fine for a couple of years until NL pitchers know how to pitch to him, and then he'll basically be where he was last year during the World Series.
Yep. Striking out. Hopefully to Chris Sale. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
We're speaking of, World Series and down the road, where do you see the Cardinals going this year, shaping up to be?
Oh, well, if I'm being realistic, I definitely think they will make the playoffs. If they don't, something catastrophic will have happened.
I think they're a wild card team. I don't think they win the division this year.
Yeah, I think they have the potential for sure. Obviously, like we've said ad nauseum, Goldschmidt is a very great player for them to have.
He changes the landscape.
Yeah, they have obviously other great players that contribute. Where they will probably fall short is the bullpen, like a lot of teams. And frankly, they don't even have that great of starting pitchers. You can't count on Wainwright. He's like the fourth hole now. He's not the ace for sure. So I at least expect them to make the playoffs. They'll probably have at least one or two Golden Glove players. One of those probably being Goldschmidt. I think Colton Wong has the potential to make the second base Gold Glove. A lot of people are saying that he got snubbed. That all depends. That's year by year. You never really know how a player's going to do to get a personal accolade like that.
I like that take though. I like Wong as a Gold Glove. That's a good take.
Yeah. I mean, he's stellar at that position. And that's not really a position that has a lot of studs in it per se. You kind of see the outfielders that have big numbers and stuff like that, but no one ever really talks about the second baseman.
Usually your second baseman's just a glove, a defensive glove. Not too many people really stand out, like to your point. Dustin Pedroia, I kind of came up watching him with the Red Sox, and not really came up because he was a rookie in like 2007, but he was rookie of the year from shortstop, and then the following season he was the MVP. But other than that, he's just been a good everyday player until the injury bug started to bite him, and then it's been kind of a rotating door for second base. So I see the value of having that good defensive glove there, because we give up a lot of errors and stuff like that. Fucking third base, Rafael Devers had an error at his first attempt last night.
That sucks so bad.
Motherfucker, man. Like, he's supposed to be good. Like, he's supposed to be one of the breakout stars, and he's supposed to be somebody that's going to make a really big difference. Last year he had errors out the ass, and it caused him
made a
to
difference.
Have to
All right.
down. Well, nah, we were already down by like 8 runs at that point.
Oh, okay.
that game got out of hand quickly. But tonight's going to be different. Nate the Great's coming on. Nathan Eovaldi. He's remember what happened last time he pitched on the West Coast. He was phenomenal.
He did well.
Yeah,
yes.
Even though he was the losing pitcher of record that night, he still pitched 8 shutout innings in extra innings.
Isn't that some bullshit?
Yeah.
When you can do that and still lose.
Yeah, he was phenomenal, but still lost.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I mean, that's baseball. It happens. They play 162 games a year. 1 L doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
To that point, the Cardinals and the Red Sox are both going to go 161-1 for the rest of the season, and that's your World Series matchup. So you heard it here first. See ya.
That's a hot take.
That's a never gonna happen take.
Right. But it was exciting. Just the buzz of, baseball fans very excited. Several people told me happy opening day, and no one really says that on the first game of NFL.
You don't get that. You don't get that as a fan for any other sport.
Right.
You like hockey, you're a Blackhawks fan and stuff like that, but does anybody ever tell you like, oh, hey, happy first day of hockey?
Nope.
Never. Happy puck drop. And nobody will write on your Facebook wall like happy kickoff for football season. No, but you saw memes and everything like happy opening day. And baseball, it's special in that regard.
Yeah. And I could hear the I don't know what the Brewer Stadium is called, but that place fucking erupted every time their team did something.
I think it's Miller Park.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, you can tell fans are ready and they're excited that it's here. Every year you start a countdown. Basically, as soon as the football season is over, you make it known that there's X amount of days until opening day.
buddy, let me tell you, it doesn't start when football season's over with. It starts when the World Series is over with.
Yeah,
that's when my countdown officially starts for the next baseball season. To me, like I said, after the Vols lost last night, that basketball season was done for me. Basketball season was done for me
before it even started.
Before that game even started, because baseball was already on.
Yep, I agree.
I listened to the Mets and the Nationals game on my way home from work because it was an opening day game and I wanted to hear it.
Yeah.
I came home from work and turned on the Cardinals and Brewers game because it was an opening day game and I wanted to watch it.
Yep.
I saw Kane rob that homer. It sucked. I thought it was gone. I was like, oh shit, extra innings, baby.
And
no.
Nope. Yeah. And to that point, as of late, professional basketball isn't doing shit for me.
I don't care too.
Golden State's gonna win again, and blah 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 blah, and whatever. I could care less.
Yeah, I don't care for basketball. So for me, it's all right. I'm in baseball season now, and Brandon in baseball season is happy Brandon. Because every night, 7:05, 4:05, or 1:05, I know that I'm gonna get to watch a game.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that is coming up that we'll probably cover at least a little bit, playoff hockey, and playoff hockey's fun.
Yeah, so. We'll talk about that. The Bruins clinched. The Blackhawks are probably doing well enough to make it.
Yeah, I think so. They sucked early in the season, but they've kind of picked it up. So it's up in the air. But yeah, definitely it'll definitely be something to watch. Like same with kind of baseball, like people get into hockey when it's the playoffs because it's much more important and it's just kind of more exciting because there's something on the line.
Right. But the main thing that I'm focused on other than baseball is Game of Thrones.
Oh God.
And that leads me into a big announcement that we've been building to and that we've been kind of talking about behind the scenes for quite some time now. You and I have, and we're going to dedicate special episodes just to Game of Thrones. The Monday after they start airing, we're going to come on here with a special panel, a rotating panel of guests, and discuss theories, the episodes that we just watched, and all that stuff. And we're going to keep our same regular Nest episodes where we record on Friday night and post them on Saturday. So for those of you keeping score at home, that means 2 episodes a week.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I can't think of a better TV show, what have you, to dedicate a episode to than Game of Thrones. There will be tons of content to cover. Each episode's going to be damn near movie length. And like you said, we're going to have a panel of people. That'll be really fun to get people's different conspiracy theories and what they think is going to happen. I'm excited for that.
I'm very excited about it. I've been talking to several of the people that are going to be coming on, and they all seem really amped and really stoked to get to come on and talk. And I'm excited to hear a lot of their theories. The one of the guys that's going to be coming on, his name's Adam. He hosts a podcast called the Bearded Ballesta. I hope I said that right. And he has episodes dedicated to Game of Thrones already, where he's like, the top 10 swordsmen in Westeros, his top 10 episodes of Game of Thrones, and the top 10 whatever, like he goes down and he breaks it down and he does his homework on this shit. And he has some guests on there, and he was telling me one of his guests has read the book 7 times or something like that. It's like,
good
holy
God.
fuck. Like, yeah, it's crazy. So if you're a fan of Thrones, we got you covered.
Yeah, I'm excited. What is it? April 14th?
14th. Yeah,
that's
dude.
coming up, man.
We might actually start having some of these guys come on before the season actually starts, so that our listeners can, get to know them and kind of hear their theories of what they think will happen before the show starts.
Sure,
if that makes sense.
Get some predictions in.
Yeah, hell yeah. But that's all I've got for today. Do you have anything else you want to touch on?
No, I'm good with that. Yeah, I'm excited to do the 2 episode little system there.
I think it'll be cool. We'll be recording on Monday nights and Friday nights for those of you that want to watch us on YouTube, and then we'll be dropping the episodes probably, Monday night and Saturday or whatever it is that we work out. So you can still catch them all in the same place on whatever device you listen to. And yeah, you'll just be getting more birthday cake.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed. See you.
All right. See you next time.